Good morning, everyone. My name is Arun Jyoti Sarangi, a student pursuing MBA with the specialization of Rural Management from the Xavier School of Rural Management, Xavier University, Bhubaneswar. I would like to take a moment to introduce all my co-authors. Mr. Anand Pandey, who is a research scholar of NIT Trichy and who is also the founder and director of Fundamental Action and Research Foundation in India. He is a dedicated professional working for the welfare of rural people in the state of Uttar Pradesh. He is also a recipient of the Karmavir Chakra Gold Awards in the year 2019. Dr. Badri Narayan, who is the Chief Advisor of Fundamental Action and Research Foundation India and is also the founder and director of Infinite Sum Modeling in the United States. He is also an affiliate faculty member of University of Washington, Seattle. Mr. Rahul Mohanty, who is also a student of Xavier School of Rural Management, Bhubaneswar, and Mr. Balram Bhushan, a professor of Xavier School of Rural Management, Bhubaneswar. The paper that we are going to discuss is based on water conservation techniques in rural India, which is based on the study undertaken in one of the villages of eastern Uttar Pradesh in the country of India. In a world with 7.7 billion residents, 17.4%, which is approximately 134 crore people, reside in India. However, the nation accounts for only 4% of the world's water resources. The country experiences average precipitation of 1170 millimeters per year, which can otherwise be stated as 4,000 cubic kilometers of rainfall annually. However, this rainfall is not uniform. It varies depending on time and location. Most of the rain is received during the monsoon season, which spans from June to October. Other sources include the melting of glaciers in the Himalayas after the winter. Apart from this, there are 7 major rivers along with numerous tributaries which make up the river system of the country. Despite all these appreciable numbers, today India is facing an acute shortage of water. This includes both clean drinking water as well as water used for agricultural purposes. According to reports, India is reeling under its worst ever water crisis, and as a result, millions of lives are under threat. The numbers show that around 60 crore citizens face high to extreme water stress, and around 2 lakh people die every year due to the inadequate access to safe water. According to the Composite Water Management Index report released by Niti Aayog in 2018, 21 of the major cities, including the national capital, will be reaching zero groundwater labels by 2020. The report also suggests that by 2030, the country's demands for water will be twice what is supplied, creating severe water scarcities for the entire nation. Moreover, around 18 crore of the people are already living in the day zero scenario due to illicit use of groundwater, an inefficient and illegitimate water management system exacerbated by several years of inadequate rainfall. Also, the failure of a united water conservation movement contributes to the current crisis. The report also suggests that the country's economy is going to suffer major setbacks due to the current water crisis. This may even lead to a roughly 6% loss in the gross domestic product by 2030. Water, as we all know, is the most important resource for the human population. However, due to human negligence, overconsumption, climate change, and general mismanagement, all of this have contributed to the current crisis. Today's crisis is the culmination of countless years of negligence. This is not only the responsibility of the government, but also the duty of every Indian citizen to deepen their understanding of water conservation and how their actions can affect it. Water conservation, as we say, is not an individual effort, rather, a community effort aimed at preserving every drop of water. Any beneficial reduction in water loss, be it through the implementation of water conservation techniques or be it be through efficient utilization of available sources, is known as water conservation. It is not just a one-time task. Rather, it is a habit instead to appreciate the importance of this natural resource and accept the insufficiency of water. It includes not only technological advancement but also behavioral changes. However, it is also understandable that water conservation techniques and implementation strategies differ depending on rural and urban settings. For example, harvesting rainwater by digging ponds, lakes, channels, etc. adds to the existing water reserves, which can be a very effective solution in rural areas where the harvested water can be used to cultivate short time to harvest high yielding crops. However, to implement water conservation guidelines in urban areas, it requires proper prescriptive regulations, out of which the most important would be the rationing of water for particular applications. According to recent reports, the state of Uttar Pradesh is facing a severe water crisis despite its proximity to the Ganges basin. Over the years, several wells and hand pumps have dried up, ponds have disappeared, and the groundwater level has been severely depleted. Even the state capital Lucknow is facing a major water crisis. The capital's major source, that is the Gomti River, has dipped by several feet due to various reasons, and the residents of Old Lucknow are in grave stress due to incessant water supply cuts. Due to the lack of water and water availability in only a few sources, the emergence of conflict between people has become a major issue. Also, caste discrimination has intensified the conflicts, with people complaining of water tankers being sent to upper caste settlements, conveniently sidestepping the Dalits residents. According to reports, a total of 271 blocks in 22 districts have been identified with severe water crisis due to rapidly depleting groundwater levels. The groundwater level is being illegitimately exploited in most of the districts, with Shamli and Pratapgarh at the top of the list, followed by Saharanpur, Firozabad and Agra. According to government reports, the districts in the Bundelkhand region lost around 70% of Rabi cultivation due to drought conditions, which led to several farmers' suicides. Rivers like Ken, Dhasan, Sunar and Vyarma, among others, have dried up and water remains only in some very deep pools. Also, according to latest data by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, only 47.21% of rural Uttar Pradesh has been covered under the Swachh Bharat mission, and many villages still reeling under conditions of open defecation, which severely affects the quality of water in and around the areas. The central government of India spent around 15,000 crore rupees in the past decade to create water harvesting structures. However, this has failed to revive the traditional water bodies such as ponds, which have become dysfunctional due to negligence. Our research is based mainly on primary data collected through structured interviews with the residents of the village of Bhikari Rampur. Apart from basic survey questionnaires, we also prepared a separate topic-based questionnaire which was used during all interviews. By stratified random sampling, 50 households out of the 600 households in the village were interviewed over a span of 10 days. Apart from that, researchers undertook unstructured interviews with people from in and around the village. The research was based on secondary data collected and reviewed from different sources. In the village, rainfall serves as the major source of irrigation. Mainly for marginal farmers, rainfall serves as the only source of irrigation. Except for the year of 2019, in all the other years, due to less rainfall during the previous years, the farmers suffered acute shortages of water and were unable to support their families as their harvest was hampered severely. There are no canals in the village, however, there is only one canal in the adjacent village of Badlipur, which is only accessible by the people residing in the Yadav Basti or the community in this village. There are three ponds in the village, one of which is almost dried up and the other two are contaminated with waste and garbage. There are also 6 wells in the villages, out of which only 2 are still in use, the rest are abandoned and not utilized. According to the survey, it was discovered that the advent of the first pumping shed in the village dates back to 1970s, and people have been using pumping sheds since then to irrigate their lands. Previously, people used oxen to draw water out of the groundwater wells, a technique locally known as purvat. Over time, with improving incomes, pumping sheds were installed in many areas. Most of the pumps utilized are submersible pumps with few monoblock pumps. However, some of the people do not own their own pumping sheds, but they rent it at an average cost of around 40 rupees per hour. The irrigation is carried out through pipes with dimension of 2 inches, 3 inches and 4 inches thickness, and the length ranges from 100 to 600 feet depending on the extent of land to be covered. There are also community pumping sheds installed which are available to other adjacent fields through the usage of large pipes. According to the survey, with a submersible pump, it takes around 5 hours to irrigate 1 bigha, which can also be said 27,000 square feet of land. Although most of the family members in almost all households in the village are involved in agriculture, people with large patches of land employ labor during months of irrigation to take care of watering the fields. The average price per day rate of agricultural labor is rupees 250 to rupees 300. Most of the crops require a length of growing period of approximately 4 months, and the sowing takes place in the time period from November 15th to December 15th. Before sowing, one time sichai known as Paleva is done if one rainfall does not take place. The major crop in the area include wheat, and there are other crops which are grown in the area such as bajra, jawar, pigeon pea, chickpea, mustard, red lentils, millet, sorghum, potato and tomato, etc. The survey also explained that most of these cultivations went in loss as the minimum support price is far less, and moreover it is in favor of those who buy and sell, not for those who produce. According to reports, the average utilization of water required per person per day is around 135 liters. A typical household of 4 would require around 540 liters per day, which may fluctuate by roughly 20 to 30 liters depending on the season. Also, in rural areas, if the family owns animals such as cows, then the number increases dramatically. Based on the above data, a typical household of 4 people with 1 milking cow and 1 bull would require 693 liters per day. However, according to our surveys, the average consumption per person per day shows a difference of around 30 to 35 liters, that is, usage of around 175 to 180 liters per day, as compared to 135 liters per day. Also, the container used for cattle drinking water is smaller than required, hence the water keeps spilling and results in extra wastage of water. Our surveys also showed that there is a lack of awareness regarding the importance of saving water. Most of the houses are not equipped with any sort of tanks or drums to save water when excess. We also came to know that after the advent of pumps, most of the households have become even more careless while using underground water. For instance, while bathing, people prefer to keep the motor on and bathe in the current flow of water as it is fresh and warm. The same occurs when water is required for washing clothes, utensils, and other household activities. Only one community that we studied had a community reservoir connecting to the tube wells to collect excess water. However, they did not even use that due to the lack of protection from pollution. Apart from agricultural usage, many villages have personal gardens consisting of flowering plants, etc., where watering is done without any regard for the preservation of water. Not only is this behavior prevalent in households, but also schools' underground water use is erratic. Another important reason for the wastage of household water is that there is no option of sewage treatment within the village. This leads to sewage water being directly dumped at a rate of 2000 to 3000 liters a day. In the presence of a sewage treating system, this could have been mitigated. Out of the families interviewed, only 12 families stated that they wanted to conserve water but were unable to do due to various difficulties. The remaining families did not think it was necessary to conserve water as they believed that the village has enough water for current needs. Also, there is a difference between the younger and the elderly people in the village, with the elderly wanting to save water while the younger generation not agreeing with them. According to our surveys, we found that a major chunk of people are dependent on rainwater for irrigation. The decrease in rainfall over the years has severely affected the marginal farmers in the area. Established farmers who own pumping sheds as well as generators to cope up with electricity problems feel less vulnerable to the issue of water scarcity. However, most of our interviewees agree to the fact that rainwater is one of the most important sources of irrigation, but very few people actually considered water conservation as an alternative. This stays as a problem in the village as water conservation not only calls for technological improvements but also behavioral changes. Also, being inundated by the Ganges basin gives the people a false feeling that water is a free natural commodity and endless. However, a very few of those interviewees considered proper cleaning up of the sources of water. Also, surveys in the village say that there is at least one tube well dug per two houses, which is actually a major contributor to the depletion in the groundwater level. Although hit by a drought in the year 2011, people still feel that water in the area is abundant and it will take a lot many years to even think of water conservation. This is a widespread problem not only in this area but in a lot of other areas, which serves as one of the major reasons for water scarcity. The story of Bundelkhand serves as a perfect example. Once inundated with 5 rivers, is now reeling under extreme water stress. The present day scenario shows frequent riots, cancelling of weddings, and deaths of wildlife due to water scarcity. Over the last 5 years, there has been a 60% reduction in rainfall, which has even led to 21 of the major cities approaching the day zero scenario. Water conservation should not be seen as the end objective of only one sector, and rather it should be seen in terms of the enormous impact it has on human lives. This cannot be achieved by the government alone, and it calls out for a well thought out and planned set of objectives which focuses on not only technological loopholes but also issues of social, economical, and environmental concerns. Based on the study, the following recommendations can be considered and implemented. Borewell percolation pit method can be used to install borewells with proper supervision, and it is also economical, serving two vital purposes: rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharge. Ridges, or which is called in local language as made, should be made in agricultural fields to stop the excess water from being lost and helps in percolating down the ground. As a result, the groundwater table is restored and water level in the wells and ponds rises, which can be further used for irrigation and other purposes. Also, in case of abundant rainfall or when the rain comes all at once, it keeps the plants safe. It also raises the plants a bit higher to give space to the tractor tires to drive between the rows without crushing the plants during cultivation or during application of pesticides or herbicides. Households in the village should consider creating asbestos ridges along with the sealing in the outside connecting those ridges to a tank to store the runoff rainwater, which can be used for various purposes, which in other words is also known as rooftop rainwater harvesting. Abandoned wells should be used to store excess water during rainfall and should be covered with a wire mesh on top to protect the water from being polluted, which can be used for various purposes. The abandoned ponds should be dug to the proper depth and water should be stored. The number of tube wells dug in the village should be regulated as the groundwater level is heavily compromised due to depletion of aquifers and no way of restoring them. Water conservation literacy is mandatory, which should be undertaken through nature camps and awareness campaigns in and around the village. Instead of using a hose to water the garden, we should encourage using watering cans. Also, people should be encouraged not to water gardens whenever they feel like, rather should be watered only when required. Using hose for bathing animals should be avoided, rather a bucket and a mug system should be encouraged for any kind of washing activity. There should be surprise inspections from the village chief in common places like schools, public toilets, community tube wells, pumping sheds, etc. to check the utilization of water and impose fines in case of irregular utilization. Competition should be held among students in nearby villages regarding innovative ideas to conserve water on the World Water Day, that is on March 22nd. The village chief should plan and invest in advanced irrigation technologies with the help of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana (PM-KSY). Children should be encouraged to undertake Save Water public campaigns in the entire village with rewards for the best performing groups. And finally, plantation of more and more plants should be encouraged. However, instead of being aware of all these implementations and necessary steps that we can take, we actually cannot implement something for the sake of implementing, but it should cater to all the necessary requirements along with being economically viable, technologically feasible, and socially acceptable. India is facing its worst ever water crisis. Hence, it calls out for a multidisciplinary integrated plan. Now is the time to act. Thank you.